This free video is brought to you by the Team Topologies Academy. Our goal is to help organizations become more effective and more humane. If you find this video helpful, we would love for you to check out and recommend our Academy content.
As we have been discussing, showing value and impact is essential to establishing effective enabling teams in an organization. A crucial ingredient to achieving that is creating principles around enabling teams to strive to work on specific and purposeful missions. Those behaviors help us continuously prioritize our investments in enabling teams and as such maximize their impact in the organization. There is an interesting example from a company called Footazylum around getting started with data-focused team, doing facilitating work, and only later realizing they were acting as an enabling team. Initially, they were planning to have data people in each team, but in practice, data engineers were joining teams temporarily as needed to address their data-related capability gaps. For example, a database engineer would work with a team for a week until the team was self-sufficient. Or a business intelligence engineer would work temporarily with a team to help them verify their data was reaching a data lake. These data engineers had a facilitating approach with temporary interactions, targeting specific challenges, in essence, an enabling team as Footazylum came to realize. More frequently, however, the first enabling teams need help adopting mission-driven principles and behaviors. In general, there is a tendency to work on new challenges, broadly defined. That can quickly become an anti-pattern for enabling teams, as they enter a never-ending journey of jumping from challenge to challenge without a clear mission and focus. Coming back to the cloud adoption enabling team example. If their goal was simply get teams to use the cloud, that would have been too broad and unclear. In fact, it could even have led to enabling teams taking a stance of mandating teams to adopt cloud instead of focusing on helping them through their challenges. Instead, by focusing on something much more specific, such as help teams developing their first application on cloud, we define a much more measurable and impactful mission. In true agile fashion, we are breaking down the work and impact of enabling teams into smaller, valuable increments. This also allows course correcting much faster than working on broadly defined challenges. This is why it is essential for enabling teams to always have a clear mission and a specific targets to facilitate teams. This mindset encourages measuring and learning. By continuously measuring and learning, we can also understand if we need to pivot the mission of the enabling team. Remember, enabling teams in general work on non-trivial activities that organizations are still learning. Given that, as we progress on initiatives, we may learn that the initial assumptions were incorrect or a different angle may be more effective. For example, in the cloud adoption enabling team discussed earlier, it started initially mostly focusing on sharing some general documentation to help teams kickstart things. However, they quickly learned that they needed to have a more hands-on experience to make that learning more effective. The bottom line is that this principle of continuously measuring and learning helps prioritize the efforts of the enabling teams. This becomes really important to establish effective enabling teams. It helps avoid the typical anti-patterns of having experts jumping around working on interesting challenges and move towards having experts pulled into very specific missions to address challenges teams are facing in the organization.